Ready? Start. The learned counsel for the respondents also urged that the appeal was not maintainable in view of the fact that the order under appeal does not affect the rights of the parties and as such was not appealable. Stop para. We have considered the rival contentions of the learned counsel for the parties. Stop. In our view, the first and foremost question for consideration in the power of the court to grant exemption from payment of the prescribed court fee. Stop. In this connection, the relevant provisions of law are Section 4 of the Court Fees Act and Order 7 Rule 11. Stop. CPC Section 4 of the Court Fees Act is couched in a language which shows that payment of court fee prescribed in the first or second schedule to the Act is mandatory before a plaint or the other documents or instrument referred to in the section can be proceeded with. Section 4 as applied to State of Delhi covers the ordinary as well as extraordinary original jurisdiction of the Delhi High Court. Stop. Further, as applicable to Delhi. Stop. Section 4 of the Court Fees Act reads, no document of any of the kinds specified in the first or second schedule to this shall be filed, exhibited or recorded in or shall be received or furnished by the High Court of Delhi in any case coming before that court in exercise of its ordinary or extraordinary original civil jurisdiction. Stop para. It is not in dispute that ad valorem court fee is payable on the plaint as in the present case, and in fact the plaintiffs have stated in the plaint itself the amount of prescribed court fee in this behalf. Stop. The language of Section 4 puts a complete embargo on the power of the court to proceed with or act upon a document of any kind, including a plaint in the suit, unless it bears the prescribed court fee. Stop para. This brings us to the Code of Civil Procedure, which governs the procedure of trial of the suits of civil nature. Stop. According to subclause of Order 7 Rule 11 of the Code, where the relief claimed is properly valued but the plaint is written upon paper insufficiently stamped and the plaintiff, on being required by the court to supply the requisite stamp paper within a time to be fixed by the court, fails to do so, the plaint shall be rejected by the court. Stop. There is a proviso according to which the time fixed by the court for the correction of the valuation or supplying of the requisite stamp paper shall not be extended unless the court, for reasons to be recorded, is satisfied that the plaintiff was prevented by any cause of an exceptional nature from correcting the valuation or supplying the requisite stamp papers, as the case may be, within the time fixed by the court, and the refusal to extend such time would cause grave injustice to the plaintiff. Stop. Thus, under Order 7 Rule 11, if the court is satisfied and after recording reasons for doing so, the court may in cases of exceptional nature extend time when it feels that refusal to extend time would cause grave injustice to the plaintiff. Stop. This power is to be exercised in cases of exceptional nature and not in routine. Stop. The power is confined to extend time for making up deficiency in court fee and nothing more. Stop para. These provisions of the Court Fees Act and the Code of Civil Procedure, in our view, do not leave any power with the court to grant exemption from payment of prescribed court fees. Stop. The only power which can be exercised in cases of grave injustice or hardship is to extend time for payment of court fee, and if the plaintiff fails to do the needful even within the extended time, the plaint is liable to be rejected. Stop. Running through the twin acts, namely the Registration Act and the Stamp Act, we could not at any stage reconcile ourselves to the idea espoused by the Appellant's Counsel that there is an element of commercialism involved in the whole process of registration of instruments or payment of stamp duty, and that the executants of an instrument at the time of its presentation for registration becomes a consumer entitled to serve within the ambit of Consumer Protection Act. Stop. The reasons are many. Stop. The Registration Act as also the Stamp Act are meant primarily to augment the state revenue by prescribing the stamp duty on various categories of instruments or documents and the procedure for collection of stamp duty through distress or other means, including criminal prosecution, as non-payment of stamp duty has been constituted as an offence. Stop. Payment of registration fee or registration charges, including charges for issuing certified copies of the registered documents or fee for the inspection of various registers or documents kept in the registrar's or sub-registrar's office, etc., constitute another component of state revenue. Stop. Para. In this situation, therefore, the person who presents a document for registration and pays the stamp duty on it or the registration fee does not become a consumer, nor do the officers appointed to implement the provisions of the two acts render any service within the meaning of Consumer Protection Act. Stop. They only perform their statutory duties, bracket start, some of which as earlier indicated are judicial or at least quasi-judicial in nature, bracket close, to raise and collect the state revenue, which is a part of the sovereign power of the state. Stop. We have already indicated above that under the Registration Act as also under the Stamp Act, the officers, apart from performing administrative duties, also at time perform quasi-judicial functions. Stop. Para. The courts are also involved at some stage in the matter of determination of stamp duty. Stop. The courts and the officers are thus component of one and the same set up under these acts. Stop. The preceding officers of the courts are protected under the Judicial Officers Protection Act 1850 read with the Judges Protection Act 1985. Stop. But so far as the officers are concerned, the position is a little different. Stop. The observations of this court extracted above, on which strong reliance has been placed by the learned counsel for the appellant, are undoubtedly true, and we also reiterate that a government officer may be held liable in tort if, in the discharge of his official administrative duties, he acts maliciously or with oblique motive or mala fide, but the position in the instant case is different in many vital respects. Stop. These provisions were not noticed by this court in Lucknow Department Authorities case, obviously because this aspect of the matter was not involved therein. Stop. In this instant case, neither the appellant pleaded nor has the district of the state forum recorded any finding that the refusal of the registering officer or the inaction of the collector of stamps was malicious, motivated or mala fide. Stop. Para. We need not therefore further delve into the matter. Stop. Since the collector has to take a decision with regard to the nature of the instrument as also with regard to the amount of stamp duty payable on the instrument, it is implicit that he has to act in accordance with the principles of natural justice, and given an opportunity to person liable under law to pay the stamp duty to enable him to show that the instrument was either not chargeable with any stamp duty or that it was properly and duly stamped. Stop.